Hi, this is the table read for my set prepared by poetry. My name is Alex Cox. I'm going to be performing this March 7th, 2025 at Rose City Book Club in Portland, Oregon. Demonic dedication for the outsiders and outcasts, the one who tried their best to fit into others' expectations with disastrous results. The bastards, the survivors, the hidden talent waiting to be seen, the worthy who feel unworthy, the ones who didn't find themselves until they accepted who they were inside and showed it on the outside, no matter the consequences. Disclaimer: the following words are acts of creative inspiration, brought here to you from me with thought and provocation, gifts of life, love, places, and song, long nights, bright lights, battles of right and wrong. No AI assist was needed for this work. With no respect to Google, the bards I know aren't jerks. God's not my co pilot. Why the fuck would I want Bill Gates? Tech can help the many, but for one, it dooms your fate. I've drawn from my life the culture I've observed. Their medium is music, mine is words. So please hear mine, remix, reuse, recycle. Live them as your own for these moments of recital. Say my name, toss a coin if used commercially. True creation is a work of living memory. No consent here for big data and computer facsimile. The only large language model needed up here is me. Things my father said. Protesters are white and looters are black. You're so stupid. You couldn't get into Penn State. Does HR have you listed in the black or the white column? I don't think you know. What would Zuckerberg feel about what you're saying? Keep deterring screwdrivers and wrenches. Stay out of the public light with your negativity. My father said all these things after Trump cleared Lafayette Square. I called the man a fascist. My father felt it unfair. I didn't know my grandfather, who went to Penn State. The one who raised me was lucky to finish grade 8. I didn't grow up in the Von Trapp's family home. I grew up a bastard, rural, isolated, and alone. My father grew up a black sheep in a wealthy family. I grew up country and with a lot more civility. Unfair is a humorous term with one so privileged, yet I had crossed his line and committed sacrilege. My mom turns out was wise. She never told him about me. While I was growing up in a small little town, he was drunk on a beach by the sea. I found him when I was 30, his life somewhat recovered. He was sober, creative, and happy. A son had been discovered. 10 years we had together, 10 years learning to love. Yet when that fateful day came, my father said all of the above. Clearly, I'm not dumb, stupid, or mentally meek. My father was angry, spoiled, and emotionally weak. A couple years later, my uncle gave me a call. My dad had raged at him, family at all. Then he spent 2 months in a hospital, and his life suddenly came due. My father died in that hospital bed, having pissed off everyone else too. I spoke at his funeral. I tried to give him some redemption. He was unhealed and conflicted and never had intervention. With all that had happened, if he'd just picked up a phone, I'd still have made damn sure he didn't die all alone. Someday, I'll be a tree. I laid down with my son tonight as he was preparing to drift off to sleep. I was on my side, and he rolled over to look at me. Daddy, you look like wood, he said. I opened my eyes to his gleaming smile. Really? I replied, surprised but thinking about how he had talked about our brown skin and why it is different than other people. Yeah, why do you look like wood? He asked. Because someday I will become a tree, I began. When I die, you will plant me in the earth, and I will sprout up like into a great tree. My roots will dig deep into the soil, drawing up nutrients and water, spreading out to connect with other trees and life. My trunk will go big and strong. My limbs and hair will spread and stretch out into branches and leaves to collect the sunlight above, and I will sway in the breeze. You won't turn into a tree, Daddy, he laughed, with a big smile on his face at the idea. If people turned into trees, the trees would have eyes and faces. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, I said to him as he turned back over in bed. I guess you'll have to wait and see. Daddy, do trees talk? His small, tired voice asked. They do, in a few ways, I said. Trees talk through the wind, like the air in our lungs across our vocal cords. Their leaves shake and limbs creak, and they sing a song in the wind. They talk in another special way, too. They talk through all their roots, through the soil and the ground, with each other and with other plants. If one tree is in need, they send food and water to them. When another tree dies, that tree gives its nutrients to the others so they can live on. Trees with each other all the time. When I am a tree, you can always come to me to talk. You can sit under my shade and listen to my leaves. You can touch the soil under your fingers and know I am part of it, and the whole earth loves you. By that time, however, my son was asleep, possibly dreaming of his dad made of wood. A thought about authenticity. There is a lot of talk about authenticity and being our real selves. What if my authentic self is all of my fake ones? The mage, the sage, the warrior, the poet, the lover, the leaver, the deceiver, the believer, the high achiever, the wanderer, the conjurer, the author, the imposter, the hacker, the slacker, the druid, the fluid, the chaot, the illuminate, the one who says why not, the pervert, the convert, the seer, the beer, the doer. And at the same time, none of them at all. What if the act of finding myself is simply doing myself? And when I need to remember, look back at what I've done and acknowledge it for the good, bad, powerful, weak, vulnerable, loving, wise, foolish, arrogant, humble, people pleasing, people leaving, people hurting, people healing, chaotic, ordered, and incredible existence I've led. What if in this very moment I have all of them and none of them? What if at any point in any imaginable number of futures, I will simply just be me in that present moment? And that is my beauty. Worthiness. Declaring your worthiness isn't an act of logic or rationality. It's a bold act of assertion against a history and society that tells us we aren't enough and that we need to be more. It's a scream of enough from your inner child who just wants to be happy and play. It's a flag planted in your life that says this mistreatment ends here and I will not stand for it anymore. It's a true act of will, an invocation of self acceptance. I wish this for everyone. Claim your power. Where they go, one. They can't believe in climate change. They can't believe in masks or vaccines. They can't believe in science studies. They can't believe in diplomacy. They can't believe in systemic oppression. They can't believe in history. They can't believe in anecdotal digression. They can't believe in human need. Where they go one, they go all. That's what the Q folks say. For when you look, if one difference they took, the other lies would fall away. If I am killed. If I am killed, if I am found dead, if I am reported to be gone, if by gunshot, by police, by any report of violence, know this. I was unarmed. I carried no gun. I wished no harm to others. If arrested by rule of law, I likely did not resist. Violence I have set aside in my life. I only wish to know peace. When to say I love you. Never before you feel it. Never after it's too late. Never when you're too lit. Never to change a fate. Only when you're certain. Only when it's true. Only when it doesn't matter if it's returned back to you. Both in healthy grounding and in clear mind and heart, with earnest voice resounding, with time for talking to start. The word of love is your gift, one freely shared with joy, expecting nothing to be returned and not a dead ploy. With these all met, with time you'll know, when the moment strikes, you'll be ready to go. The breakup. Sometimes things don't work out, no matter how much you want them to. When the constant arguing wears you out to the point you don't know what else to do. The love you feel is still very real, while time invested is now painfully divested. Your heart continues its appeal as your will to hope is finally bested. When it hurts as much to say as much as it would to leave, when the differences of today can no longer find reprieve. A moment's wrath turned the course of life's path with so much force. What we hoped would always be sharply ends in sadness, tragically. Our bond deserves so much better than to break by my reckless words. A lifetime of sorrow I'll carry onward until my eyes are pecked out by birds. I wish you well, I wish you healing. I wish you hope in your heart's annealing. I wish you love, I wish you passion. I wish you better for your queenly fashion. In my hall of loves you take your place, a bright central spot of greatest space, with words of warning for my future, to never again be this harsh pusher, to better know the right ending, one to foster all hearts mending, from at best a still painful rending of two lovers with separation pending. I am guilty with no excuse, no defense for being obtuse, for not taking a moment, for lacking patience, for being cruel, heartless, and ingracious, for saying things I knew were mean, without thought, with words unclean. I tarnished more than our relationship. I triggered guilt from unrelated hardship. You didn't deserve this act most cruel. My mouth released a wretched gruel of blame, of anger, of tainted heart, a needless addition by which to start. I am sorry I broke your heart, Erica. A sea shanty. A pirate at sea, a ghost in the void, a wizard casting storms, and cat breaking norms. Oh, any of these could make a great song. Just pick a little jiggy and follow along. The pirate on a ship stuck full of coffee sipped from a mug and looked out to sea. The storm came asunder, clouds dark and gray, like a ghost in the sky from far away. Oh, any of these can make a great song. Just pick a little jig and follow along. The pirate was cool, let out a big burp, patted his kitty who purred a little merp. The storm got closer, the sea got higher. That ghost hunted on, his pirate's ass got tighter. Oh, any of these can make a great song. Just pick a little jig and follow along. The ship wrecked hard through the empty sea. The kitty went below with the company. The pirate yelled and screamed the topsail mast. The ship was almost lost and they had to act fast. Oh, any of these can make a great song. Just pick a little jig and follow along. They dumped their bounty, their precious cargo, all went overboard to save the ship below. To save the ship below, not far away, a wizard waited offshore and floated his barrel of coffee since he needed more. Oh, any of these can make a great song. Just pick a little jig and follow along. Now, you may want to know about the ship and the kitty, for our story they lived, or this tale would be shitty. If ever you see a wizard in need of coffee, fill his cup to the brim, lest another storm cast he. Oh, any of these can make a great song. Just pick a little jiggy and follow along.